Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Severson. I'm the founder of the Unapologetic Voice House, the publisher behind two books that launched today. One of them is Passed Down from Mom, Inspiring Stories About Moms and Motherhood. And here are some of our authors. We had a total of 16 authors in the book, plus myself, who wrote the introduction. And the premise behind Passed Down from Mom is to shine light on our stories as moms or what our moms gave to us. It is live as of today, March 5th, 2020, May 5th, 2020, I'm sorry, COVID brain, May 5th, 2020, and you can find it on any bookstore websites, library websites. Passed On from Mom is available for sure on Amazon as well. And if you'd be so kind as to leave us a review, we would appreciate it. Today, though, what we wanted to do is just sort of introduce you to a couple of the authors and spark their, give you their behind the scenes look at why they chose to write about the topic they chose about. Before we get into that, I would like to say that if you are a member of the media and you are interested in reviewing the book, you can contact me, Carrie at carrieseverson.com, or just leave a note here, and I will send you our NetGalley link for you to review, or possibly even send you a copy of the book. We appreciate it. We have a number of magazines who are reviewing it right now. The concept of Passed On from Mom came to me when my fiance and I got engaged in 2019, and he has 3 children, and I wanted to create an additional support system for myself, and I went out looking for more moms to connect with. And in one of my coaching sessions with my coach, for some reason, out of the blue, this great emergence came around this particular topic, securing stories from other moms. And the book has been it's our first anthology. It was a labor of love, and I'm very proud to be the publisher behind it. So with that, how about I send it over to Rachel? Would you like to share a little bit about your story and what you chose to write about?
Sure. So I was a pretty shy and self-conscious kid, and oftentimes when we're young, we are a little bit embarrassed about the things that make us unique and beautiful. So though my mom was very different than myself, I think oftentimes our parents know their kids better than we like to think that they do. And I think the greatest gift that my mom gave me is just to help me see my own beauty by using a language that I would understand. And when I was young, I loved colors. So she helped me see that beauty in myself that I saw in other people. So.
That's cool. I love it. And I will say that she's being very modest, and she has a background in, what is it, circus? Like it's,
yeah.
How do you...
So in circus, I started riding unicycle when I was 6, and it kind of took off from there. So grew up in youth circuses, but I was a little kind of hid some of those talents from other people.
Yep.
And when you hide that, you tend to stifle it from other people, and you don't grow and develop as much as you should. So my mom encouraged me to not hide who I was.
Your story is beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's very cool. Thank you, Rachel. And Vindy, passing it over to you to share a little bit of behind the scenes about your story and why you chose to write about your mom.
Sure. Well, my first experience with you in the Unapologetic Voice House was really positive. I had my first book published there, and I was really glad that Carrie invited me back to participate. So my story is called From India to Canada. I'm from Canada, and it's an intergenerational journey of courage, action, and meaning. And in the story, I share a story about my maternal grandmother and courageous actions that she took in India a few years after the Second World War to protect herself and my mom, who was about 4 at the time. And as a mother of a daughter myself, the story had so much deep meaning and so many lessons contained with it. And not just to do with my parenting philosophy, but also parallels that I had in my story with my grandmother. And it was it's sort of set goosebumps up my arms. And so I feel like I got a thumbs up from my late grandmother to do this story. So I was really glad to have the opportunity.
That's cool. I remember talking to you about the story you were contemplating two different stories, and the energy between this for you and the other story you were considering was like night and day. And you were so fired up about this particular piece that I'm very glad that you decided to go with this one. It's very cool. From India to Canada. Yeah, you said before that you have the longest title, and intergenerational journey to courage, action, and meaning by Nidhi. I love it. Thank you so much. Over to Valerie, would you like to share a little bit about why you chose the story you did?
Sure. My mom came to the United States from Greece when she was about 20 years old. And through my mother, I learned what it means to dream. I learned what it means to be kind. I learned what it means to put up a good fight, like all Greek women. So my story is really to honor my mother and all the wonderful things that she taught my sister and I on how to stand up and how to really advocate for yourself. My mom was before her time, for certain, and it was just my love note back to my mom for all the sacrifices and all the things that she did for us.
Sorry guys, I'm on my phone and I was trying to read the chat as well. Your story is called All Ants Need Their Mother. And I do remember reading yours, and there's you have such strong ties, obviously, to Greece, but then also to New York.
Yeah.
And it was very cool. You have such a great way of sharing your culture through your writing, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah. Nancy, we have such great variety in terms of where people are in the world. Another Canadian writer. Over to Nancy.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, so my story is about my just amazing, strong, resilient, beautiful hearted mom. Every day I learn more about her and I fall even more in love with her. She's just incredible. And so she immigrated from Italy back in the late 1950s. And so this story is just really about everything she brought to us, the experiences that she brought to us growing up in this Italian home that she had added her own little twist to, and the whole, everything from food to family and connection. And she just taught us so much, and she is just an incredible woman. And I love the idea, Val, that you said it was like a love letter to your mom, because really that's what this felt like for me too.
And please say the name of it, because I will not do it justice.
It's called Creando Una Casa, which just means making a home, creating a home. Yeah.
I love it. I loved your piece because you have such a great description of your mom. There's an element in it where Nancy talks about her mom dressing up to the T's regardless of what was happening that day. And so she was like riding bikes in heels and like gardening in skirts and things and doing exercises dressed up. And I hate that.
It's amazing.
I appreciate
My
that.
sister's on the call here and she's nodding her head. Yep.
That's cool. Beautiful. And let's see, Pauline, a writer here in the States.
Yeah, thanks. So my story is called Twinkle, Twinkle, You Are Loved. And it's a multi-layered story, really. It's kind of full circle for me. I'm passing down a lesson I learned from multiple miscarriage loss. And it's a story where my daughter is going through something. My young daughter is going through something. And it's really about resilience and how to be resilient from a place of self-love and our own personal strengths. Finding acceptance and peace around that. So, yep.
Beautiful, thank you. I'll say that Pauline and I met in 2016 probably, when I started a coaching business. And my very first like introduction into the online coaching world was a 5-day essay writing challenge. And I said something back then, I said, you should really be sharing stories from your scars, not your wounds. And Pauline and I have been working on finding a place for her to share her story since then. And when this book came around, I think Pauline was one of the first people I reached out to just to see if she would be ready to share her story. And the way that she shared it is from such a, it's a beautiful, strong space with a lot of compassion. And it is more focused on your daughter and the growth and where you go. And you could tell that you had grown so much. Me personally, I could tell that you've grown so much in 2016. So I appreciate you being a part of it. Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Kara, back over to Canada.
Hello. Okay. So my story is called I'm Worthy of Everything I've Ever Dreamed of. And inside of my story, I really dive into my personal experience with postpartum depression and learning about the power of self-prioritization and how that has positively impacted my life and caused, this beautiful ripple effect into the life of my family. And so inside, I really share a lot of tips, for my daughters. I have a stepdaughter and a daughter, and of what they can expect or potentially expect. And it's just a very honest story of what I've gone through and giving other women permission to speak up about their truths and what has happened to them and no longer allow postpartum to be a stigma. So that's what mine was about.
Thank you. Yours is it's such a well-rounded piece, and it's the only piece in here about postpartum depression. And I remember when we first spoke, you have such a passion for meeting moms on the road of wherever they are, and that was really important for you. And I'm grateful that you stuck true to what you believe in, and your whole, almost like your brand with the space that you create for moms in general. And why don't you share the little the Facebook group that you create for moms? And so if in the event that after they read this book and they want to come together and celebrate sisterhoods and motherhood, they can do so in your group.
Beautiful. Okay, so thank you. So the community that I've created is really designed for mothers and stepmothers to come together to receive, that parenting support. And so it's called the Sacred Mama Co-parenting support for a happy home life. And so we ultimately design the happy home life that you desire. So this is a really beautiful space. So thank you for allowing me to share that.
You're welcome. And then there's only a couple more, there's just a few more people on here. So Linda, do you want to share really quickly why you chose to write what you did? And I see that you have a baby with you.
Yeah. So my name is Linda Vasquez Rubio, and I am a first-generation United States citizen. And my story is about passed down generational trauma and reclaiming your space. And it's really just to remind moms how important it is to leave a written legacy for future generations. And that's why I have my little one sitting here with me.
I figured you're you're a woman who does things on purpose with an exclamation point to make an impact. And I'm grateful. Your story closes our book, and right before the conclusion, and I did that on purpose because you're somebody that has you make a statement, and it's a powerful statement. So I appreciate you. Whitney, I think you were here too. I saw you pop on. You want to share your little a love letter?
Thanks, Carrie. So I'm Whitney Moe, and my story, it's really about how my kids just cracked me open, like heart-wise, intuition-wise. And I always say they're like my best spiritual teachers because they really taught me how to be like who I am, and in that I found how to stand in my own power. So that leads into everything that I do, and the leaders that I want to be in business, and also the leader at home. It really speaks to in all areas. The one thing would be the boundaries, how to stand in your own role as a mom to you know, lead with like compassion and kindness, but, you know, have strong boundaries for self. And that's really about self prioritization too, like a little bit on what Kara was talking about. So its title, it's a long-winded one, but it's called Motherhood Awakens to Find Power, Intuition, and Consciousness.
And you talk about your culture as well, right? Or am I imagining that?
Oh no, I did. I touched on that. It's a little background on, you know, my upbringing. You know, in a traditional Chinese family, like my whole purpose is really just to do house chores, what it seemed like to me, and how to be that supportive role of like the man, which is like the man of the household. Like it's very, very outside of self. Culturally, it's like it's very, very overgiving, and that's what I've been taught to do as a young girl.
Yeah, thank you. What I loved about this book and all these stories is that it really was cultural. Like we have stories about India, Greece, China, Mexico, and I'm forgetting one. Italy, thank you. And then I saw one more on here. Alison, is your backyard quiet? Do you want to share? Or are you okay?
I can for the moment. So I'm Alison Rand, and my chapter is called Birthing from the Heart. It's a journey of a little bit of my childhood and how it led me to adopting my children from China. And just no matter how I was raised, that I knew in my heart that these are my children and that they would come and be a part of our family. And just the journey and opening up and allowing love to lead the way.
Yeah. I think I'm unmuted here. I opened the book with your story because the concept of motherhood to me, particularly my own introduction to motherhood, being a stepmom and this idea of birthing from the heart, like going back to Whitney's point about being cracked open, it felt like that was sort of a good way to start, is birthing from the heart. There are a number of other projects or stories in here. I think I got everyone that was on the call, but we have probably 5 additional folks who have written pieces for this, and we touch on generational points in here. We touch on resilience and persistence and the closing of relationships. There is a wide variety of stories in here, and I think the book itself will reach you on your road wherever you are, and we would greatly appreciate your purchase. Or I think today you can download it on Kindle for $2.99. That's what I did this morning, and you can start reading right away. So thank you so much for being here, and let me know if you have any questions. Again, Carrie Severson with the Unapologetic Voice House and Passed On from Mom. Inspiring Stories About Moms and Motherhood is available as of today, May 5th, 2020 for purchase. Thanks, everyone.